Hello friends, welcome back to the second lecture of our 10-minute series where I try to cover almost every chapter in around 10 minutes without missing any important concept for your examination. In this chapter, we will cover the core concepts of planning as a management function. We will look at what planning means, the steps involved, its importance, management by objectives, environmental analysis tools like PESTEL and SWOT, contingency planning, and finally forecasting and decision making. This chapter is conceptually rich, so we will move through the key ideas in a structured way. So here is what we will cover step by step. First, we will cover the fundamentals and steps of planning. Second, the importance and advantages of planning. Third, management by objectives, including its process, advantages, and limitations. Fourth, environmental analysis covering PESTEL and SWOT. Fifth, contingency planning. And sixth, forecasting and decision making. Friends, please note some additional subsections in the chapter contain detailed checklists and minor notes. We will acknowledge those but will not go into every detail which are not that important for your examination. Now let us start with what planning actually means. Friends, planning is the deliberate and systematic process of preparing for future actions so that goals are met efficiently and effectively. It is actually a fundamental managerial activity. It involves thinking through what needs to be done, analyzing possible outcomes, considering risks, and creating actionable strategies. Now, planning answers some very basic but important questions like what needs to be done, where will it happen, how will it be done, when should it happen, and who will execute it. Next, please note planning can be strategic, tactical, or operational in nature depending on the level of management involved. Next, let's see steps in planning, friends. Friends, do you know after the recent CAIIB syllabus revision, the pass percentage has dropped sharply to just 20.77%. And these are not just my figures. These are as per official IABF data. But what's the reason for such a sharp downfall? Well, the main reason is not that bankers are not studying enough. Now, there are primarily two important factors that have led to this massive fall. First is increase of syllabus from 3 papers to 5 papers. Friends, for bankers, CAIIB was already a bit more challenging than JIB, but with addition of 2 more papers, the difficulty has crossed over the roof. Then second and bigger reason is non-availability of smart preparation resources. Luckily for you, there's now a solution. Let me introduce you to my CAIIB Masters Pack, which is created specifically for the new CAIIB syllabus and upgraded exam pattern. For each paper of CAIIB, you get a summarized notes book covering entire syllabus in my own words, in depth but not bulky. Friends, if you are serious about clearing CAIIB in your very next attempt, then stop wasting time with scattered resources. Click the link below, grab your CAIIB Masters Pack and start preparing smart. The chapter outlines 8 clear steps in the planning process. Let me walk you through each one of them step by step. Step 1 is opportunity analysis. This means identifying business opportunities and analyzing their feasibility before building a plan around them. Then step 2 is objective establishment. Friends, objectives are the cornerstone of planning. As you all know, without clear objectives, there is no direction. Next, step 3 is developing planning premises. Now, these are assumptions derived from forecasting that guide decision making. They cover areas like forecasting, basic policies, and existing plans. Then step 4 is alternatives identification. Now here you list all possible ways to achieve the goal. Next, step 5 is evaluating alternatives, where you assess each option using statistical tools, cost analysis, risk, and regulatory fit. Then step 6 is selecting the best alternative, where you choose the option that best aligns with organizational goals. Next, step 7 is formulating derivative plans, meaning secondary or supporting plans that align with the main strategy. And finally, step 8 is follow-up and reviewing, which involves continuous monitoring and adjusting the plan as external factors change. Next, let's look at importance and advantages of planning. Friends, planning serves several critical purposes. It helps set clear goals and gives direction to the entire organization. It also tackles uncertainty by predicting risks using available information. Then it also eliminates overlapping and wasteful activities by addressing the what, how, why, when, and where in advance. Planning also promotes innovative ideas, especially in competitive environments. It facilitates structured decision making and serves as the foundation for coordination and control across all functions. Then, on the advantages side, planning coordinates activities across departments, optimizes resource allocation, clarifies responsibilities, and enables the organization to adapt to internal and external changes. However, there are some disadvantages as well, like excessive focus on planning can delay action. Also, over reliance on existing plans can reduce flexibility, and rigid planning can hinder innovation by discouraging experimentation. Friends, I hope the chapter is clear up to here. If you have any question, then don't miss to comment your queries. Next comes the heart and soul of this chapter, that is management by objectives. Friends, management by objectives is an important concept in this chapter. It was coined by Peter F. Drucker in his book The Practice of Management, published in 1954. It is a goal-oriented management approach where management and employees collaboratively set clear, measurable goals, monitor progress, and review outcomes. The management by objectives process runs in 5 steps, which are 1. Define organizational goals based on the mission and vision. Step 2 is communicate those goals using the SMART framework. SMART basically stands for specific, measurable, acceptable, realistic, and time-bound. Then step 3 is encourage employee participation in setting personal goals aligned with organizational objectives. Step 4 is monitor progress at both individual and team levels. Lastly, step 5 is evaluate achievements and reward progress through honest feedback and recognition. Please note all these since almost every year question is asked from the concept of management by objectives. Next, the advantages of MBO include greater clarity of goals, proactive behavior among employees, better resource utilization, and measurable outcomes that enable timely adjustments. On the other hand, the limitations include the fact that MBO can be time-consuming, generates significant paperwork, may overlook organizational culture, and can become inflexible if goals are not revisited regularly. Next, let's see some other important concepts as well, like environmental analysis, PESTLE, and SWOT. Friends, environmental analysis examines both internal and external factors that affect organizational performance. Externally, it identifies opportunities and threats. Internally, it highlights strengths and weaknesses. The key external framework we will discuss here is PESTLE analysis. Friends, PESTLE basically stands for political, economic, social, technological, legal, and environmental factors. Please note political factors include government intervention, trade restrictions, and political stability. Economic factors include interest rates, inflation, and GDP growth. Social factors cover demographic and cultural trends such as the shift to digital banking. Technological factors include mobile banking and AI-driven customer service. Environmental factors focus on sustainability goals. Lastly, legal factors cover compliance with privacy and consumer protection laws. Please note PESTLE analysis is noted as cost-effective, comprehensive, and useful for identifying both opportunities and risks. Then next, for internal analysis, we use the method called SWOT analysis, which assesses strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats simultaneously. It is useful at all stages of a project and gives management a balanced organizational overview. Friends, this chapter also mentions gap analysis, which identifies the gap between current performance and the desired future position, and strategy evaluation, which measures outcomes of plan execution. Next, let's look at contingency planning. Friends, contingency plans are alternative plans that are activated when key events do not occur as expected. You can think of them as a plan B. They go beyond natural disasters to address risks such as loss of data, loss of staff, or breakdown of commercial relationships. Now, there are 5 steps in contingency planning. First is specify trigger points. Second, assess the likelihood of each risk event. Third, evaluate its potential impact. Fourth, develop alternate plans. And fifth, ensure financial feasibility. Lastly, we have 2 concepts of forecasting and decision making. Friends, forecasting here means predicting or estimating the future based on evidence from the past and present. It boosts confidence in decision making and forms the foundation for planning premises. Now, forecast can be classified as long-term, covering 3 to 5 years and focused on monetary and investment planning. Medium-term supporting operational budgeting, and short-term covering less than 1 year, typically 1 to 6 months. Then next decision making is defined as selecting one course of action from multiple alternatives. It is integral to planning and other management functions. Now there are 3 conditions for decision making. First is certainty, which is where outcomes are known exactly. Then second is risk, where partial information leads to probabilistic estimates. And lastly, we have uncertainty, where outcomes cannot be predicted at all. Next, friends, also remember the 3 principles of decision making. First is the principle of definition, which says accurate problem identification simplifies decisions. Then second is the principle of evidence, which supports evidence-based decisions. And lastly, the principle of identity, which calls for considering all viewpoints before finalizing a decision. Friends, with this, you now have a clear understanding of the key concepts in Chapter 2 covering planning fundamentals, the 8 steps of planning, MBO, environmental analysis through PESTLE and SWOT, contingency planning, forecasting, and decision making. With this, I wind up this lecture, and don't miss to get your resources from the links given in description of this lecture. So thank you, and I will meet you again in next lecture next week.